Right now, you may be one of the safest humans who has ever lived. Walls around you, light above you, a door that locks. If something moves outside your window, you can choose not to care. If you hear a sound in the dark, you can tell yourself it is probably nothing. But for most of human evolution, darkness did not mean nothing. It meant the part of the world where your eyes stopped working and other eyes began. Long before humans ruled the planet, we shared it with animals that could kill us in seconds. Lions, leopards, hyenas, crocodiles, snakes, large birds of prey, creatures with teeth, claws, speed, night vision, patience, and instincts sharpened over millions of years. And for a long time, humans were not the nightmare of the animal kingdom. We were part of the menu. That is the real question. Not how humans became powerful. How did an animal this vulnerable survive long enough to become powerful at all? Ancient Africa was beautiful. Sunrise over open grass, rivers shining in the heat, trees full of birds. But beauty can hide teeth. Every riverbank could conceal a crocodile. Every tree could hold a leopard. Every patch of grass could become a mouth. We know this danger was real because sometimes the bones kept the record. The Taung child, a young Australopithecus from South Africa, preserves damage that researchers have argued is consistent with a large bird of prey. Other fossil sites show hominin remains mixed with carnivore activity. The details can be debated case by case, but the larger picture is clear. Predators were not background scenery. They were part of the human story from the beginning, and that changes how we should imagine our ancestors. They were not marching neatly toward dominance. For millions of years, they were clever, social, adaptable, and still in danger. Intelligence did not erase the predator problem overnight. A smart animal can still be dragged from a tree. A social animal can still lose a child near water. Evolution does not protect a species because it has potential. It only rewards whoever survives the next dangerous hour. Leopards may have been especially dangerous because they hunt the way fear itself hunts. Quietly, from cover, often at night. A lion announces power with size. A leopard survives by not being noticed until it is already too late. Recent analysis has argued that marks on Homo habilis, jaws from Olduvai Gorge, match leopard tooth damage. If that interpretation holds, then even early members of our own genus were still vulnerable to silent cats in the trees. And leopards attack one of the weaknesses humans hate most: uncertainty. A lion on open ground is terrifying, but visible. A leopard in branches turns the world above you into a question. That kind of danger trains a different kind of mind. Not just a mind that runs, a mind that checks, a mind that scans shadows, a mind that notices when birds suddenly leave a tree. Even water was not safe. To drink, to cross, to gather plants, a small human had to approach the one place where another predator could wait without moving. A crocodile does not need to chase across open ground. It needs patience. It needs a muddy bank. It needs one careless step. Ancient survival often began with a decision not to approach what looked useful. That may sound simple, but it is one of the oldest forms of intelligence. Avoiding the obvious reward because the risk is hidden. Thirst says go closer. Hunger says reach farther. Curiosity says look over the edge. Survival says stop, wait, watch the water. Many of the best survival decisions leave no heroic story behind, no fight, no wound, no trophy. Just a group that took another path and lived because nothing dramatic happened. If survival were a contest of bodies, humans should have lost. A lion had claws that could open flesh. A hyena had jaws that could crush bone. A crocodile could vanish underwater and explode upward in a fraction of a second. Humans had fingernails, flat teeth, thin skin, no armor. And after sunset, compared with many predators, our vision was painfully limited. This is why the simple answer is misleading. People imagine a spear, one brave hunter, one charging lion, one dramatic victory. but that skips too much of the story. Sophisticated weapons came later than the earliest stages of hominin vulnerability. For a very long time, survival was not one heroic person defeating a predator. It was a group of fragile bodies trying not to be isolated. The first great human defense was not a weapon. It was another pair of eyes. Alone, a human is fragile. In a group, one person sees what another misses. One person hears the branch snap. One person notices birds suddenly stop calling. One person remembers where a leopard was seen yesterday. Survival became shared before it became heroic. This is why isolation still feels powerful. To be alone in a predator world is to lose the network. No one sees behind you. No one wakes you. No one notices the movement you missed. The group does not make each individual invincible. It multiplies awareness. Long before technology surrounded us, other people were the technology. The human advantage was not strength, attention, not claws, communication, not speed, coordination. A warning did not have to be loud. A frozen body could be a signal. A glance could become a command. A hand movement could pull a child closer to the center. In a predator world, information had survival value. Many primates survive by watching, calling, and reacting together. Humans inherited that social world, then pushed it further. We did not just notice danger, we remembered danger. We did not just react to one alarm, we turned alarms into rules. Do not sleep near that tree. Do not drink from that bend in the river. Do not walk alone when the birds go quiet. Night was the hardest test. Sleep is necessary, but sleep is also surrender. Eyes close, muscles relax. Children curl beside adults. The camp becomes still, but stillness is exactly what predators understand. A sleeping animal is easier than a watching one. This is why firelight feels so powerful in ancient stories. It is not only warmth, it is the image of a small circle of order in a much larger darkness. Inside the circle, faces are visible. Children can be counted. Hands are busy. Outside the circle, everything becomes uncertain. The edge of the light is the border between what humans can manage and what they cannot yet know. A sleeping group also has a strange advantage. Not everyone sleeps the same way at the same time. Some people fall asleep late, some wake easily, some stir before dawn. Modern research with Hadza hunter-gatherers found that across many nights, it was extremely rare for every person in camp to be deeply asleep at the same time. We cannot simply copy that finding into the deep past, but it gives us a clue. Mixed sleep rhythms can create a kind of nighttime watch. Imagine the camp, a small fire, a child asleep, an elder adding a branch before the flame dies, a scout staring beyond the edge of the light. Nothing moves, then something does, a sound in the grass, a shape that may be wind or may be hunger. The important thing is not that the scout is brave. The important thing is that the camp is not blind. Memory became another kind of armor. A claw protects one body. A memory can protect a group for years. Where the cats drink, which trees have branches low enough for ambush, which river bend is dangerous in the dry season, which silence means birds have vanished for a reason. Predators evolved teeth. Humans evolved stories. Those stories did not need to sound like modern science to work. They could be warnings, rules, taboos, tales told to children around a fire. Do not go there. Do not wander after dark. Do not ignore the birds. Fear makes memory sticky. That may be one reason frightening stories last. They are not just entertainment. They are rehearsal. Tools change the relationship again. Stone tools did not instantly make humans rulers, but they changed distance. A sharp flake could open a carcass. A heavy stone could break bone. A branch could become a threat. A pointed stick could make a predator hesitate. Every tool added a little more space between human skin and predator teeth. And in predator survival, space matters. Distance gives time. Time gives warning. Warning gives the group a chance to form. A lone human is a target. 5 humans facing outward are a problem, branches forward, children inside, fire behind, voices rising together. Suddenly, the predator is not choosing between attack and no attack. It is choosing between easy food and possible injury. Predators are not movie villains, they are risk calculators. A broken jaw, a damaged paw, or a deep wound can mean starvation. This is why hesitation mattered. Humans did not need to become stronger than a lion. They needed to become dangerous enough that the lion asked a different question. Is this worth it? Then came the force that changed the night. Fire. Not only heat, light, smoke, sparks. A moving wall of brightness in a world ruled by shadows. But fire was not discovered once in a perfect movie scene. The archaeological story is complicated. Evidence appears in different places, at different times, with different levels of certainty. Some early humans may have used natural fire before they could create it reliably. Some groups may have guarded embers carefully because losing flame meant losing a powerful advantage. The movie version is one spark and a revolution. The real version was probably slower, more fragile, and more human. A flame does something simple and profound. It gives human eyes back some of the world. It makes movement visible. It marks a center. Around it, people can gather after sunset, repair tools, share food, teach children, watch each other's faces. Fire also changed time. Before reliable light, night was mostly something to survive. With fire, night became a social space. And the more time humans spent together in that space, the more knowledge could move from one mind to another. The most dramatic change may have happened at the edge of the light. A predator approaches, it sees bodies, branches, smoke, heat, movement. Not an easy sleeping animal, but a strange bright center of attention. Fire is not a magic shield. It does not stop every predator. But if it makes an attack uncertain, if it makes danger visible, if it gives the group a few more seconds to react, then it matters. Picture a lion at the edge of camp, low in the grass, patient, nearly invisible. The fire pops, sparks rise, a human stands, outlined in orange, another wakes, a child is pulled inward, the lion pauses. It does not need to be afraid the way humans are afraid. It only needs to decide that tonight, this is not easy food. This was never a clean victory. Predators adapted, humans adapted, cats became patient, humans became watchful, scavengers learned the smell of camps, humans learned to guard food. The story was not one battle. It was an arms race, with every generation inheriting both danger and strategy. And slowly, the fragile animal became a difficult animal to hunt. Not invincible, not safe. Difficult. Difficult to surprise because someone was watching. Difficult to isolate because the group moved together. Difficult to predict because humans planned. Difficult to forget because stories carried warnings forward. The predators did not vanish. Lions still hunt, leopards still stalk, crocodiles still wait below the surface. For many people living near wildlife today, these dangers are not ancient at all. What changed for most of humanity was the daily relationship to danger. Many of us now live inside walls, lights, roads, phones, and locked doors. The old world has faded for many people, but it has not disappeared from the planet. And it has not disappeared from the brain. Your brain was shaped by a world much older than the one outside your window. It is why sudden silence can feel wrong. Why footsteps behind you change your breathing. Why a dark hallway can feel occupied even when you know it is empty. Your fear is not proof that something is there. It is proof that your ancestors survived by checking. That does not mean every fear is useful today. A hallway is not a savanna. A coat on a chair is not a crouching animal. A noise in the walls is usually not a leopard. But the brain often prefers a false alarm to a missed threat. Checking too often costs a little energy. Failing to check once could cost everything. This is why horror works. The thing outside the light. the shape moving too quietly, the animal sound where there should be none, the face glimpsed for one frame. These are not random tricks. They are old survival cues in modern packaging. So how did ancient humans survive predators? Not through one miracle, not through one invention, not because they were always brave. They survived because they avoided more fights than they won. They watched together, slept unevenly, remembered danger, made tools, used fire, protected children, taught the next generation, and slowly they became less like prey. Tonight, when you walk past a dark window, part of you may still look, not because you are foolish, because somewhere in the long chain of people who made you, the ones who looked survived. We no longer live in exactly the same world, but some part of us still listens from the edge of the firelight.